There's a famous passage by Aldo Leopold, Thinking Like a Mountain, where he felt the mountain as a sentient being. Yeah, of course, the trees are sentient, and they feel and they think in their own way, and they intuit, and they have the same functions as we do. A tree's got to find its way, its roots have got to find its way in the soil to nutrients. It's got to partner with mycorrhizal fungi. Think of the communication that goes on in the roots between mycorrhizal fungi and the tree. That's a kind of thinking. It's a kind of communication which involves a kind of thinking. It's not human thinking, but it's nevertheless a communication. And there's quantitative exchanges of water and nutrients between the two partners. That's a kind of thinking. And then a tree, it must feel really good when the sunlight of the right amount is raining down on its leaves. It must feel, oh, this is good. This is good for me, this sunlight. I can photosynthesize. An intuition, maybe a tree can intuit that itself as part of Gaia, of the whole planet. I think the pheasant agrees. And then, sensing. Well, a tree obviously senses temperature and humidity and moisture in the soil. So, of course, a tree, every being has those 4 functions. You could even say every atom, maybe every subatomic particle has those 4 functions of consciousness inherent in them in some way. Otherwise, where do we get them from if they don't come from the physical basis of nature, from the atomic, subatomic structure or substratum of nature? So they must be there right at the very core of nature, those 4 functions.
Wow. Is there anything, it's very exciting and it's quite awesome for me to understand that. I don't think I've understood that fully before, so thank you. What makes you like most excited about this work?
What makes me most excited?
Yeah.
About what, the holistic science?
Yeah,
or
holistic
just what?
Science and digging deep, when you have moments
Well, I mean, I suppose I have moments, and our students have moments of wholeness, where you just feel the earth is alive, you're alive inside the living earth, that the earth is much more sentient than you imagined, that organisms are sentient, that there's consciousness in everything. Everything is conscious, one way or another. Everything is consciousness. It's all about consciousness. Those are the wonderful moments when you really know that, It's no longer just an intellectual idea, but there's a sort of kind of knowing descends on you like a healing rain. It's like the healing rain falls on you, and you just know, without any doubt. But of course you can't prove it. It's not provable in a scientific sense at all, but you just know. It's a knowing that the universe is consciousness, and that the whole thing is about consciousness, and that you're involved in developing the consciousness of the universe in some way. That's the role of humanity, to do that. It's a kind of knowing, but you can't measure it, you can't describe it. Although I bet if you did brain scans of people in those sorts of states, you'd find a different brain state of someone who's in that kind of state as opposed to someone who isn't. I'm sure that'll be demonstrable in the future, or maybe already has been, by neuroscientists. I mean, we already know that with psilocybin, for example, the connections in the brain become much more intimately. The different parts of the brain become much more intimately connected, and that's probably why you get this holistic feeling of the integrated nature of the universe. So that feeling, that knowing, that state, I think must have a physical correlate in our bodies. And I'm sure it's not just the brain, it's the gut, it's everything in your body. Feels so much better when you enter those sorts of states. And I think that's what we're trying to do in holistic science. It's that kind of discipline that brings you into a state of complete harmony with the whole of nature and with the purpose of your own life. So that's holistic science, ultimately. It's much more than conventional science. Conventional science isn't interested in that at all. It just wants to get more information, more fact, but no value.